Morning guys, this will be a quick video today because we are Friday and we've got a chance of having a big risk reversal going into the weekend, and really to have any trade setups with a low medium confidence, it's a little bit of a waste of time. And if you were to take the signals, you may have resulted in the stop loss. We had a Aussie CAD yesterday that went to SL, but it was a low medium confidence. So next week, if we have any trade setups, I need to be medium or high confidence, but because of this week we had the central bank risk events, it was going to be a low medium confidence week. But next week should be a little bit easier. Hopefully you caught that gold move as well, because it really fell yesterday, and you should have made some profit on it, because I've been posting analysis in Discord and in Telegram about how you should be shorting gold, and it fell like 5% yesterday. Right, so in terms of our spreadsheet, we are extreme fear. Now that's a very rare circumstance that we are in that situation right now. What that means essentially is that the crowd are that long at the big picture, but they've added while being that long. So what they've actually done, they've made their situation worse for themselves, because they're net long, but they added over time. So this is like the static view, like a photograph. This is the delta. This is the movement across time. So not only are they long, but they added at the big picture. So there's actually 1.6 bulls versus the one bear. Normally the bears are completely dominant. Normally we have like 10 bears to one bull, and now there's more bulls than there are bears, and the technical scores have fallen as well. So that's why we're extreme fear. So it measures that, it measures that, and it measures that. So how are they positioned? Have they added? They have, yeah. And also then it just checks your technical, and that looks at the US yields, the Dixie, because obviously that moves risk on, risk off, and it looks at the indices as well. So it examines sentiment on the France 40, the German 40, the US 30, US 500. Also we look at UK 100, but it has got a slightly weaker score because it's not, you can't compare it to the S&P. You can't compare the FTSE to the S&P. And likewise with the France 40, that's got a weaker weighting as well. But it is what it is. So we'll have to see how we go. Now, what I want to show you, because we're not going to look at trade setups, I just want to show you how the sentiment looks like on the indices and gold. Okay. So with the S&P, they have sold it. Okay, so this candle's probably going to be legit. Okay, so come here, pretty much, yeah, it's going to be this one. So we should be above this candle. I don't know if you want to be buying this dip, but they have sold it. At the big picture, they're net long, 54% long, which is really rare to see on the S&P. They have sold it, so we should be above 6616. So that's that. Okay. US 30. They have sold it, but I think what might happen is that they're going to buy it, and then this is going to be a bogus candle, and we could fall. So we don't want them to be buying. Okay, so this is probably not. This is probably going to be fake. But we have had the buy set up on this. No, it'll be this one, the tiny candle. It's like the smallest candle ever. I think we've ever done something like that. So we should be above that, but I've got a feeling that they're going to go long, and then that is going to be a resistance. So that's quite a pickle, because they're very long, 66% long. DAX, oh, they've gone long. We want that percentage long lower than the MVA, the moving average. Now what's happened is that we can see that they've gone long above the moving average. We want that below if we were looking for longs. So this is likely we may wick on this just to get them to sell now. So a bit tricky, to be honest with you, because it was looking like it was a buy, but then they just hopped on their longs. We don't want them to be buying if we want to go long. Okay, gold. So yeah, quite a pump here. We had the buy here, so let's draw the box. So I've got a couple of trades running on this, so I'm going to probably wrap up this sells, because what's happened is that they've shorted it quite strongly. It's here, isn't it? It's this candle here, and I don't really want to be in any drawdown particularly. I want to just close up for the weekend really. But I basically, I've got short positions all the way down here, which I want to milk. I want to maximize my profit. But if the FXCM guys are selling, it's going to come up to my break even. I definitely don't want that. I want to maximize my profit. So currently we should be above that box. Quickly look at the spreadsheet and the bubbles. And so we've got a strong New Zealand dollar and a weak yen. And that's very typical for the yen to be up there. They're normally long, net long, and then they normally add. And that's what they've done with that. New Zealand dollar, be careful about, because it does go to and fro. And quite a lot of chop in the middle. Yeah, just quite a lot of noise, I guess, and a bit of like not very good signals. So you could look for NJ. We could look for NJ maybe, just to see how it's going and things. And we can see if the bubbles are behaving. 0.69. You could probably argue it's maybe done its move. Yeah, so that's the buy from the bubbles, but you'd have to have woken up quite early for that. You'd have to wake up about 6 hours ago probably. How are we looking? Yeah, for the 4-hour chart, we'll come down a bit lower. 15 minutes. Yeah, so you would have to have woken up quite early, but you would have had the signal from the bubbles. I think maybe a bit late to enter, but it goes to show if you wake up early, or if you're in the US and you have a late night, it's not bad. You know, you can make some profit. See, I'm asleep at 10:11, right? And so I wake up here. So that's in a way, working in the UK time zone, you do miss some of this big move, but it's pros and cons, isn't it? Because a lot of the moves happen while Asia's asleep. A lot of the moves happen when the US is asleep. This just coincided with the UK being asleep. So that's that. So it goes to show that NJ was okay, but you probably had to wake up early for it. Okay, and that's the video today. It's a nice short one. Ideally, we want them to be selling the indices. Otherwise, if they keep buying, we're going to keep falling, and then we're going to be more risk off. And don't forget, it is Friday, and they love to rescue the market. And maybe this weekend could be setting some risk on messages as well. So we may be risk on for the weekend. So trade safely, and I'll speak to you guys soon.